Okay, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm here with Kim, my marketing strategist on my team, and I have to tell you, we haven't been live 2 weeks now, right?
We missed a week last week.
We missed a week.
Yeah.
Well, we chose to miss a week last week because I was not able to get my thoughts together, right? I went into listening mode, which if anyone's heard one of my other lives, I talked about how I just went into listening mode about what's going on in the world and the murder of George Floyd and how I could process that and the Black Lives Matter movement and trying to unlearn a lot of what I just grew up with white privilege. Like I didn't realize how much of my views were embedded without knowledge. And so I just find what's happening now incredible. And, minus the violence part, which I really get upset about, I think that the Black Lives Matter movement is changing the world. And I'm reading, and this is what we wanted to talk about today. I'm actually reading, not just looking at pictures anymore on Instagram and on Facebook and every platform that I go on. I'm actually not just looking at pictures, I'm reading what they're saying. And I'm noticing people are reading my Instagram more than ever. So me being authentic is so key. So are you finding the same things, Kim?
I am. It's been really interesting to watch the tides turn in especially the last couple of months. You first have COVID and now we have this. COVID was it was a lot easier to market through COVID than it is right now. And right now people they're identifying the fact that a lot of us haven't taken the time to really look at our beliefs and where we're going in our life, whether it's our business or personal, relational, however, what we believe. And so I'm finding a lot of people looking to the leaders in different industries, looking to public figures, looking to anyone to find what they're believing so that they can help identify and learn what they themselves believe.
Yeah, because we don't always know the right words when we haven't lived the life that some people have lived. Like I can't even believe the stories that I am reading from friends, from acquaintances in the industry. I'm shocked, I'm appalled, and I will admit that I must have completely been naive for my lifetime, honestly. Like it gives me goosebumps because I'm just like, I really was naive. I mean, that's the only way I can say it. And I feel like I'm seeing now.
Right.
And I'm associating stories from the past. Like I didn't realize, and this is a very authentic story. I'm a little afraid to say it. So we also talked about how if we say anything wrong, what do? You apologize, you learn, and you listen to the people who are telling you the proper way. But I remember when I have two children who are in the LGBTQ community. And I remember when my first came out as being gay, I thought, oh, okay, no problem. Like, I love you. It doesn't matter. You're my child and it doesn't matter. And as the conversations continue, and we're very open in my family, they said, but do you realize that dad and you sometimes, like when you're watching TV, will say, like, oh my God, he's such a handsome guy. Like, it's a shame that he's gay. And I'm like, oh, I said that? Like, it's like this learning. I was appalled. I was embarrassed in front of my own kid. Like, I didn't even realize that I said that. And I think with every big transition in life, you learn from it. And you quickly start monitoring what you say and how you say it and realize how much is just embedded in the times that we grew up. And without making specific effort to learn, we just kind of go about our day and our own lives and we don't realize anything.
Right. And it's interesting to note that when we're born, none of us are born racist. None of us are born against any social belief like homosexuality, or we are born and then it's through our culture. And it's very interesting to watch. I am Midwest, very conservative, the community itself, it's built on certain values. And it's just interesting to watch, and then seeing the nation and the different parts of the country. And so it is very, very interesting, but it is also, the good thing is we can all learn. And then how do we authentically keep showing up? And I think you're going to see that more and more on social media, is that you're going to have the big brands, but not just like, okay, now it's a movement, let's use it for our marketing. No, people want to know who they're going to work with, what their beliefs are. So like interior designers, they're going to, if you had Jane here and Joe here, you're going to look at what their social platforms are and what are they saying and how they're presenting themselves and the authenticity and their stories. And if they're real and you can relate to them, that's going to be the deciding factor on who they work with.
Right. So when it comes to marketing, it's not like just say what you think people want to hear, because they're going to see right through that.
Right.
As a body language trainer, I can watch the TV interviews and I can watch the lives here. And I go, is that person really meaning what they're saying? Or are they just saying it because they think that's what they need to say to survive in their business? And there is such a distinct, that's where it comes to really reading what they say, comparing it to their presentation, their body language, whether the stories are authentic or they seem to be made up. And I don't think there's a lot of people doing that. I haven't found a lot of people, but you're right. If you're looking for inspiration, you're going to be listening and reading and going, the way somebody presents something, does it resonate with me? So you can't fake it. You can't fake them.
Nope. And if you are like, I don't know exactly where I am with a lot of it, it's okay to back away from your normal marketing, but don't stop showing up at all. So, it's nowhere, but don't use this as an excuse to not know where you stand either. Like, take that time to know where you stand and then come back and stand authentically. Because I haven't gone and done a lot of like, this is my viewpoints and stuff, because that's not my social platform. It's not that I haven't been wrestling and trying to figure out. And so I had to formulate my own, like, how can I show up authentically in my own marketing? And so, yes.
Right. I'm just sharing in the group because I forgot to do that in the beginning. It took me time to feel comfortable enough to speak about it, because I don't know if I'm necessarily proud of who I've been in this area at all, because I've never really delved into it, never really gave it enough thought. And it should have been given thought, and it should have been part of change as opposed to part of staying stagnant in this society. And that's where I really feel like I stood. I just stood stagnant. That's my own life. And I like in a freaking bubble, totally in a bubble. And it's hard to even admit that. But now I'm like listening. And again, my kids have been an incredible resource of me learning from them and their point of view. And I'm so proud of their point of view and their knowledge, and how they're not burying their heads in the sand, and they're actually listening and thinking back at times where they could have been better people also in this world. Right. So I think the marketing right now is all about, as always, it really always is, but it's even more important now because people are listening, people are reading. So if you're not being authentic, or you don't know where you're standing, like you said, like, take a moment.
Right. And it's interesting because this is something that I've talked quite a bit on, like when I do my LinkedIn trainings and stuff, is kind of like the old model. Like, we've had an old model with the old sales model. It's the cold calls, the qualifying leads, the cold emails. And there's been a shift over the last couple years or two. And I know that you promote this and everything you talk about is now it's social selling. It's taking the time to listen and educating and engaging and building those relationships. This is a wonderful time to build those relationships with your fans that follow you on social media.
Yeah. And it really is. It's so funny you said that, because I do a lot on LinkedIn, and I have another whole business venture in my head. And I created a relationship with somebody on LinkedIn that I thought would be a good fit to help me get to the next level, which I've never really done establish a relationship on LinkedIn from zero to, hey, we're now working together.
Right.
And that's what social media is all about when it comes to growing your business, as well as getting business and getting exposure. But it's all about the relationship building. It really, I'm proving it over and over and over again. And when people get on my calendar, I'd be like, where'd you find me? And you see your group, your LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest even now is coming up. So it's people are creating relationships through these social media, especially now with COVID, right? Being locked in for so much.
With COVID, and now you have a social issue that is very front and foremost in people's mind. So it's a great way to be authentic and build the relationship. What I'm seeing not work at all is people blasting. Just that, yes. Look at me, here's my blog, look at this, look at this, look at that. And I just audited someone over the weekend, and they didn't, in the whole year, never once asked their audience a question. And never once shared a behind the scenes, like, here's me having coffee. They provided amazing educational resource. Amazing. But they were a coach and a trainer. And when people work with coaches and trainers, they need to know they're real people, authentic.
Yes, but I even think I reached out to somebody who I wanted to refer some business to, somebody who provides services to the interior design industry, and they wouldn't get on camera. Nowhere on their website could I see their face. Everything was very cold and removed. I actually couldn't find anything about them after I spoke over the phone. And they send me information, testimonials, and this and that. I even reached out to a couple of people going, have you ever worked with this person? And I wasn't getting a lot of people who actually knew who they were. And in this day and age, that made me uncomfortable. Like, I could not refer people to that person because they're not on social media. I don't know anything about them. I couldn't get on the video with them. I couldn't find anyone who's actually looked in their eyes.
Right. And I think it's so true, especially because I had a colleague that was a videographer, great person or whatever. And so when you look at the social platform, you're thinking, he had 10,000 likes. Everybody must be really popular. Well, we can get 10,000 likes. He bought them, like Facebook ads, and got them. Right. Wasn't sharing content, so that authenticity. And that's where I think people are going to be more and more attuned, especially now, is looking a little bit deeper than that surface level of how they, they can have the testimonies, whatever. But if you don't see a real person, people aren't going to know.
Right.
That's what, yes.
And you do a really good job, right? So you handle my social media. However, you ask me, you don't just make it up, right? You're watching my videos. You're watching my personal Facebook page. You're asking me questions that prompt thought. So yesterday's post completely blew up, and it was just literally like, what motivates me to work so hard? And you had asked me that, and I was like, I don't know, let me think. Well, like, a lot of things motivate me, but what I felt on that day that you asked me was exactly what went up on my Instagram, and it's completely blowing up as relatable to so many people that are in my same situation, right? Divorced. I want to show my kids you can go after whatever you want and be successful. And that's where it was just a picture of my son and I, which, he's a good looking guy, but it wouldn't have gotten that kind of engagement, but people actually read it. They're reading now. And I feel like that's a big shift. I feel like people have read in the past, but not as much as they're reading now. So make sure you're sharing. And like you said, and then ask a question at the end, like, what motivates you? And I personally am responding to all of them, which I think is important too. Like, I know you can do it for me, but I like to do that myself because I want people to know that I'm reading them and I know the names of the people who are responding. And that's part of creating a relationship for me.
Right. And that, I think, is one of the the beautiful things about the social, when you work with someone for social media, is that we can keep that consistency. We can help keep that direction and the right, making sure you have the right amount of engagement and the right posts and stuff. But what really makes the magic is when you do have the time to go in and respond to the people, because then they're getting you and getting your voice. So.
Right. So, all right, everyone. So it's Marketing Monday. This is, I feel like it's a little bit of a repetitive message that we say, but it's literally the most important thing, I feel like, when it comes to social media, is that authenticity and the listening and the reading and the creating the relationship. I don't think we can say it enough times.
Right. Nope. I strongly work really hard so everyone knows how to make their message matter, and authentic, real is the winner.
And you're really good at it. So if anyone needs help with their social media, contact Kim. And thank you, Karen. Yeah, it's, we were talking about this before. It's a little hard to open our mouths at this point because we're so concerned about saying something wrong. But at the same time, I can't help myself because I have to share my journey.
Right.
I know some people don't need to hear my journey, and other people do because it's helping them feel not alone in their journey and giving them some insight.
Ask questions. Ask questions, and if you don't know, find people that are in a different race than you and ask them, especially if they're your friends and you come to them with an open heart and say, I don't know. How can I show up for you right now? How can I help you? What can I do? And I'll start the conversation.
Right. So important to do that. So Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. So have a great Monday. Have a great week. Hopefully you're motivated and you're getting your head on straight, which I'm starting to get my head back on straight, which I'm so happy. And I will be back tomorrow with Money Talk Tuesday. Excited.
Have a great week, everybody.
Have a great week. Bye.